Hello, everyone. Tonight we are going to start with something strange, a little bit awkward, and totally real. You wake up, roll over, yawn, and then it hits you. That weird, numb, cold, unbothered feeling in your pants. Not the fun kind of morning surprise, but the exact opposite. Like your body forgot to hit start. That's not just getting older. That's your body quietly waving a red flag, and it's using your breakfast to do it. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I do here. Also, drop your city and local time in the comments. Let's see how far this message travels tonight. Now turn off the lights, maybe turn on the fan for some soothing noise, and let's get started tonight. The smell of toast, a hint of jam, maybe that store-brand cereal you've been loyal to since '92. That morning ritual isn't sacred, it's sabotage. I used to believe in it too. Wake up, brew some coffee, butter some toast, feel adult. But the truth is, I was training my arteries to quit on me every morning, and they were listening. One morning I noticed it, that heavy, cold, disconnected sensation that no man wants to talk about. It was like someone turned off the valve. My legs felt like bricks. I didn't feel sharp. My energy was missing in action. The worst part? Down there, it was like winter. And if you've ever said, I guess I'm just getting old, I'm here to kindly, firmly, and slightly sarcastically say, that's nonsense. You're not broken. You're being fed the wrong script and the wrong breakfast. See, your first meal of the day hits different. You've just come out of a fast, 8 hours, maybe more. Your hormones are waking up. Your blood sugar is ready to dance. And whatever you give your body in that moment, it reacts with maximum drama. If you hand it sugar, refined carbs, or artificial trash dressed up like muffins, it responds with inflammation, artery stiffness, and, morning disappointment. Here's a throwback for you. My grandmother used to say, don't pour fire on an empty stove. Weirdly poetic, kind of confusing, but it makes sense now. When you wake up, your body is a stove, primed, clean, and ready to heat up. And most of us pour straight up chaos on it and wonder why it doesn't cook. Here's where it gets good. There's a food, a boring, leafy, unassuming food that flips this whole narrative. Spinach. Yep, the Popeye stuff. That little bunch of green no one ever grabs first at the grocery store. That's your hero, but more on that in a bit. First, understand this. Your penis is not the problem. Your blood flow is. We spend so much time blaming testosterone, aging, stress, or bad sleep. But I'll bet you 90% of the men dealing with lifeless mornings have no idea they're dealing with a blood circulation issue. And they're feeding it every day at 8 a.m. Now let's talk science, but gently. There's a little molecule in your body called nitric oxide. Sounds like something from a Fast and Furious sequel, but stay with me. This stuff is the MVP of blood flow. It opens up your blood vessels like a backstage pass. Without it, blood can't get where it needs to go. And yes, that includes there. Unfortunately, your body makes less nitric oxide as you age. Not because it hates you, but because that's just how biology rolls after 60. But it doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you need to help it help you. Odd fact of the night, sloths can hold their breath longer than dolphins. Has nothing to do with blood flow, but isn't that weirdly comforting? Back to the kitchen. Your plate is the control panel for your body's blood flow. But instead of pressing circulate, most people hit clog before 9 a.m. That's not a conspiracy. It's just a massively overlooked truth in men's health. Doctors check cholesterol, testosterone, and maybe your prostate. But your breakfast, that's rarely discussed. Unless you're sitting in front of me, and then it's all we talk about. Look, I'm not saying ditch everything and become a kale influencer. I'm saying wake up and ask yourself, what if the food I eat first is the reason I feel last? One of my patients, let's call him Dave, used to eat what he called the champion's combo. Coffee with vanilla creamer, white toast with margarine, and a banana. Innocent, right? 3 weeks after switching that lineup, he told me, Doc, mornings feel like mornings again. And no, that's not code for a poetry club. Here's your takeaway. Your breakfast either opens the gates or slams them shut. You don't need a miracle. You need real food, the kind that activates blood flow, reduces inflammation, and supports the delicate machinery that still wants to work for you. if you'd stop punching it in the face every morning with sugar. So tonight, as you lie there deciding between eggs or cereal tomorrow, remember, the plate is power. And the cold, lifeless feeling doesn't have to be permanent. You just have to stop feeding it. Let's not sugarcoat it, literally or figuratively. When things stop working down there, it's not just frustrating, it's identity rattling. You start asking those big, uncomfortable questions. Is this what getting old feels like? Am I still me? And worst of all, is this permanent? Let me clear the fog for you. Most of what you're feeling has less to do with aging and more to do with your arteries throwing in the towel. I say that not to scare you, but to hand you the flashlight in the dark. Because unlike aging, blood flow issues are fixable, very fixable. Your body is built to move blood, constantly, efficiently, beautifully. But when that system slows, you don't just get tired or cold or heavy, you get disconnected, especially from, well, yourself. And no, this isn't just about sex, it's about aliveness, alertness, that subconscious hum that tells you you're still in there. You still got it. Let me walk you through what's really going on, using terms your average high school biology teacher might even find cute. Think of your blood vessels as highways, nice, wide, open roads. In your 20s and 30s, traffic is smooth. But over time, junk piles up, inflammation builds. Those nitric oxide levels drop, and suddenly what used to be an Autobahn becomes a pothole-riddled one-lane mess. This is where most guys throw their hands up and blame age. My testosterone must have tanked. I'm just not 30 anymore. Sure, testosterone plays a role, but you know what I see more often? Great labs, terrible circulation. Erections aren't magic tricks. They're plumbing. If the pipes don't fill, nothing rises. And I mean nothing. Now here's the kicker. Sometimes the first signs of poor circulation aren't even sexual. They're quiet, subtle. You feel a weird chill in your thighs. You sit longer than usual without realizing it. Your feet feel colder, or maybe your gym sessions feel just dull. That spark? Gone. One patient, let's call him Richard, walked in one day saying, I haven't felt like myself in a year, doc. Not tired, just off, like someone turned down the brightness. His testosterone? Fine. His heart? Strong. His blood flow? Barely creeping along, especially below the belt. 2 weeks after changing his breakfast, he looked me in the eye and said, I feel color again. Here's the deal. Blood flow isn't just about oxygen and nutrients. It's about presence. When blood moves freely, you feel your body. You're not dragging it around like an old suitcase. You're inside it, responsive, awake. That matters. Now let's pull in an old school gem, an idea that's been passed down by uncles, grandpas, and questionable men at BBQs. If your plumbing's off, check the pump. Classic wisdom, and honestly, not wrong. The heart and penis are far more connected than most people realize. They're on the same circuit. That's why guys with early erectile issues often discover heart trouble years later. But here's the twist. If you fix the circulation down low, you often fix the system up top too. Odd fact of the night, octopuses have 3 hearts, and yet none of them will ever feel disappointment in the bedroom. Just saying, modern medicine is still debating where the line is between aging and lifestyle. You'll see articles with headlines like, is erectile dysfunction a natural part of aging? And others right next to it saying, ED is a cardiovascular warning sign. Spoiler, it's usually both. But lifestyle plays a bigger role than most guys want to admit. And this is where it gets frustrating, because doctors often stop at diagnosis. You're told, oh, it's your age. Here's a blue pill. But you're not a quick fix. You're a system. Pills patch the symptom, not the cause. You deserve better. Blood flow decline is often silent. It sneaks in. No alarms, no drama. Just slow, subtle shutdown. That's why you've got to listen early, before things go from kind of annoying to I don't recognize my own body. I remember this one guy, Jeremy, 68, retired postal worker, said he didn't care about sex anymore. That ship sailed, but his eyes said otherwise. So I dug deeper. What he really missed was that sense of drive, movement, that zip in the morning. 3 weeks after a simple diet swap, he said, Doc, I'm not chasing girls, but I chased my dog around the yard yesterday, and I liked it. That, my friends, is blood flow. Let me be clear. This is not a pitch for spinach smoothies and pomegranate elixirs so you can pretend you're 25 again. This is about staying online, staying connected. Your body isn't bailing on you, it's asking for help. If it were a text, it would say, low battery, plug me into something that works. And lucky for you, that plug is in your fridge. No prescription needed. I used to think food was simple. Calories in, calories out. Eat the rainbow, avoid deep-fried nonsense, throw in a multivitamin, and you're basically immortal, right? Wrong. Wildly wrong, and painfully optimistic. The truth is, the older we get, the less we can afford to treat food like filler. It's not just fuel anymore. It's freaking medicine. I learned that lesson the hard way. Not in some dramatic health scare, but in those small, creeping disappointments that build up in the background. The ones that feel like nothing until they feel like everything. Less energy in the morning, legs that felt like wet denim, and then that disconnection again. That quiet, echoey sensation below the belt that made me think, something's off. But like most men, I ignored it, shrugged it off, blamed age, because that's what we're taught to do. Until I got real with myself and then got real with my plate. The first thing I did? I stopped lying to myself about what I was eating. You can't fix a problem you keep pretending doesn't exist. And here's where it gets messy. So many of the foods we've been told are healthy, especially for breakfast, are absolute traitors. Toast, cereal, bagels, muffins, even the low-fat ones with clever packaging and words like whole grain or heart healthy. It's like calling vodka hydration. Cute, but come on. Every time you start your day with fast carbs and sugar, you're spiking your blood sugar, triggering inflammation, and clamping your arteries like a vice. That morning stiffness you're feeling? It's not just your neck, it's your blood vessels. Let me give you an old school rule from a farmer I met in Saskatchewan once. He said, don't plant weeds and expect wheat. Translation? If you keep feeding your body junk, don't act surprised when it produces junk results. Simple, harsh, true. Now let's flip this. What happens when you eat foods that help your circulation? Foods that support nitric oxide, reduce inflammation, and strengthen your gut. The very control center of nutrient absorption? You start waking up feeling, dare I say it, awake. I remember John, a 62-year-old client, who lived on instant oatmeal toast and sweetened coffee. His legs ached, his libido flatlined, his mood as dry as his breakfast. When we swapped those out for spinach, Greek yogurt with berries, and a few other gems I'll talk about soon, his transformation was ridiculous. Not dramatic, not before and after in 10 days TikTok stuff, but real, gentle, sustainable. He said, it's like my body wants to move again. It's not fighting me anymore. That's the key. We're not trying to reverse the clock. We're trying to stop pouring cement into our arteries every morning. And let's not forget the sneaky culprit, inflammation. You can't see it. You can't touch it. But it's quietly torching your body from the inside out. And it loves when you start your day with refined carbs and processed garbage. Inflammation stiffens blood vessels, slows circulation, and interferes with nitric oxide production. You're essentially bottling up your own blood supply before you even brush your teeth. Weird fact of the night? Flamingos can only eat with their heads upside down. Doesn't really help here, but it might distract you from your existential dread about breakfast for a second. Academic circles still argue about the exact role of diet in erectile function. Some say it's marginal. Others swear it's the core. I've seen enough real-world evidence to confidently say it matters more than most doctors admit. And it's not about food groups, it's about timing, quality, and synergy. Now here's where things get cool. Once you remove the wrong foods, you make space for the right ones to actually work. Most guys want results from one spinach smoothie, but they're still chasing it with a donut and wondering why nothing's happening. Bro, that's like going to the gym and then doing shots of tequila in the locker room. Pick a lane. I always recommend starting with one swap. Just one. Replace your toast with Greek yogurt and berries. Trade your cereal for a spinach smoothie. You don't need a nutrition degree. You need curiosity and maybe a blender. And for the record, this isn't some crunchy granola, tree-hugging diet advice. This is basic human maintenance. Like brushing your teeth but for your arteries. If you wouldn't skip flossing for 5 years and then panic when your gums fall out, don't skip the foods your blood needs and panic when your body starts dimming the lights. My routine now, spinach in the morning, every morning, not because I love the taste. Honestly, it still tastes like I'm chewing lawn clippings. But I love what it does. It wakes up my body, warms up the plumbing, brings that low hum of energy back. So if you're reading this thinking, it's too late for me, I'll be blunt. That's crap. Your body isn't mad at you. It's waiting for you to get serious, get consistent, and get off the blood sugar roller coaster. And you know what happens when you do? Your energy comes back. Your confidence gets louder. Your pants fit better. Not because they're looser, but because you care again. Your body becomes a place you want to live in, not just something you drag around. And it starts with your damn breakfast. Spinach. That humble, slightly bitter green you pushed off your plate as a kid. The one that made Popeye flex and your mom roll her eyes when you said, "Do I have to?" Yeah, that one. Turns out it's not just rabbit food. It's a full-on vascular upgrade, hiding in plain sight at your grocery store. And honestly, if spinach came in pill form, Big Pharma would charge $80 a bottle and call it Vascu Grow or something absurd like that. But here's the real kicker. Spinach works. Not in a vague, oh, it's healthy kind of way, but in a direct, measurable, blood vessel expanding, nitric oxide boosting kind of way. It's not just good for you. It's strategic, especially for men over 60 who feel like their lower half is in airplane mode. Let's break this down gently, because science at bedtime should feel like a warm cup of tea, not a pop quiz. Spinach is loaded with dietary nitrates. These aren't the scary nitrates from hot dogs that people freak out about. These are natural nitrates that your body converts into nitrites and then into nitric oxide. That magic molecule we talked about earlier, the one that helps open up your blood vessels, gets blood moving, and basically acts like a natural Viagra without the awkward commercials and 4-hour warnings? Yeah, that one. When you eat spinach, especially in the morning, you're handing your body the exact material it needs to do what it's already trying to do: circulate. And that circulation doesn't just help you in the bedroom. It helps your brain think, your legs move, your heart chill out, and your skin glow like you just came back from a spa retreat you didn't have to pay for. I remember one guy, Harold. He was 67, soft-spoken, very polite, and very clearly discouraged. He looked like a guy who had stopped expecting much from his body. He said, "Doc, it's not painful. It's just quiet down there, like nothing's happening." I handed him a plan so simple it felt borderline insulting. 2 cups of spinach in the morning, I said. Blend it, saute it, chew it. I don't care. Just get it in you. He blinked. "That's it?" I nodded. "That's it for now." He did it every day. 2 weeks later, he came back and he had this glow. That faint, knowing smile men get when things start working again. He said, "It's not magic, but it's something. I feel warmer, stronger, more like myself." That's spinach. Now look, I'm not here to turn you into a spinach evangelist. I'm not saying build a shrine to leafy greens, but I am saying if you ignore spinach, you're walking past one of the most potent blood flow boosters nature ever created. And for what? Another piece of toast? Let's throw in an old school wisdom nugget here. Let food be thy medicine. Hippocrates said that like a billion years ago. And it still slaps, especially when you realize your multivitamin isn't doing what a single handful of fresh spinach can do before 10 a.m. Weird side fact. NASA once tested how well spinach could grow in space. Why? Because it's so nutrient dense, they figured astronauts could survive off it. Which means if it's good enough for zero gravity, it's good enough for your 7 a.m. routine. Now, of course, not all spinach is created equal. Fresh is best. Frozen works too, in a pinch. Avoid canned unless you enjoy sadness and metallic aftertastes. And don't drown it in dressing or cook it until it's mush. Think light sauté, smoothie, or even raw in eggs. Keep it simple. Keep it real. One important note, this stuff works best in the morning. Why? Because your nitric oxide levels are naturally lowest when you wake up. That's why you feel stiff, cold, or heavy first thing. Your body's begging for circulation, And spinach answers that call like a dependable best friend who never cancels plans. There's still some debate in scientific circles about exactly how long nitric oxide levels stay elevated after nitrate-rich meals. Some studies say 4 hours, others say 8. The consensus, it works, and the timing matters. So if you've been eating spinach at dinner and wondering why it's not working miracles, maybe shift it to breakfast and let your blood vessels ride that wave all day. Let me leave you with this. No one food is a miracle, but spinach comes close. It's affordable, accessible, not trendy or exotic, and it plays well with others. You'll see what I mean soon. Because while spinach opens the door, it's what you add to it that turns it from pretty good to holy crap, I feel alive again. But first, just eat the damn spinach. You've already got enough obstacles. Don't make breakfast one of them. So there I was, halfway through my spinach smoothie, trying not to gag, when it hit me. This stuff works. Not overnight, not in a fireworks on the 4th kind of way, but in a slow, sneaky, hey, I don't feel like a sack of concrete anymore kind of way. And here's what pushed that transformation even further. Gut health. Yeah, I know, sounds like a trendy wellness hashtag. Gut health is the new sexy, or whatever Instagram's saying this week. But I'm not talking about $6 kombucha or some influencer's 12-step cleanse. I'm talking about real functional, fix your blood flow from the inside out gut health. And it starts with something simple. Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt isn't just a protein bomb. It's loaded with probiotics. Those good bacteria that hang out in your digestive system, making sure the machinery runs smoothly. When your gut is inflamed, out of balance, or wrecked from decades of processed food, it throws off everything. Nutrient absorption, inflammation levels, and yes, even your blood vessels' ability to expand and do their thing. Most men overlook this connection. They think gut health is for people with sensitive stomachs. But guess what? If your digestion is sluggish, your blood flow usually is too. Your gut is the middleman between what you eat and how your body uses it. If it's not doing its job, your arteries pay the price. Now here's the twist. When you pair spinach with Greek yogurt, something wild happens. The probiotics in the yogurt help calm gut inflammation, which makes your body better at converting those dietary nitrates in spinach into nitric oxide. In other words, your body doesn't just get more nitric oxide, it keeps more of it. One of my guys, Louis, 70, retired HVAC tech, cranky in the best way, told me, "Doc, I don't want to eat like a rabbit." I told him to trust me. A few weeks later, he admitted, "Fine, the yogurt works. I hate how much I like it." He wasn't just moving better, he was laughing again. That's what happens when your gut and your circulation finally stop fighting each other. And just when you think that's enough, bam, we toss in berries. Berries aren't just sweet, juicy little snacks. They're loaded with anthocyanins, compounds that protect your nitric oxide from breaking down too fast. Think of them like tiny bodyguards protecting your blood flow from oxidative stress. Strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, they're not just garnish. They're functional, strategic, delicious little warriors. Let me hit you with a weird fact while you're chewing on all this. The average strawberry has around 200 seeds on the outside. Yeah, the outside. Nature's a weirdo sometimes, but it knows what it's doing. Anyway, when you combine berries with Greek yogurt and spinach, the synergy is real. Yogurt calms the gut. Spinach supplies the nitrates. Berries preserve the nitric oxide. It's like a dream team for your arteries. And you don't need a culinary degree to make it happen. Just dump it all in a bowl or blender, and boom, morning magic. Here's an old school bit of wisdom I picked up from a nurse who'd been in the game for 40 years. The gut is the second brain. If it's upset, nothing else works right. She was talking about mood, immunity, and hormones. But I'd add erections too. Because if your gut's inflamed, it sends out stress signals that constrict blood vessels. And when your blood vessels are tight, guess what else is? Science is still arguing over just how far the gut-blood flow link goes. Some studies say there's a strong connection between probiotic levels and vascular function. Others say more research is needed. But I say this, try it for 2 weeks. Your body will tell you louder than any journal article ever could. Let's revisit one of my favorite case studies. Martin, 64, a grandpa who used to dread family outings, because walking around the zoo with his grandkids left him exhausted. I had him swap out his morning toast and jam for a bowl of Greek yogurt topped with blueberries. That's it. 2 weeks later, he tells me, "Doc, I didn't sit down once. I chased those kids through the reptile house like a man on a mission." This isn't some superfood fad. This is how your body wants to function. It's just been waiting for you to stop sabotaging it with nonsense. I'll leave you with a tip. Not all Greek yogurts are created equal. Look for ones with no added sugar and live active cultures. The thicker, the better. And if you're dairy sensitive, there are great coconut or almond-based versions now, loaded with probiotics and just as effective. Here's the move. Tomorrow morning, take half a cup of Greek yogurt, add a handful of berries, toss in a scoop of spinach if you're brave, or blend it all into a smoothie. Taste? Meh, manageable. Results? You'll feel it. Spinach woke up your blood flow. Greek yogurt and berries make sure it doesn't fall back asleep. If spinach is the front man and Greek yogurt is the rhythm section, then avocado and dark chocolate, they're your surprise guest stars, the ones who show up halfway through the concert and suddenly take everything to another level. Unexpected, a little indulgent, and absolutely essential once you know what they do. Let's start with avocado. You probably think of it as trendy millennial toast stuff, but that creamy green fruit, yep, it's a fruit, is a circulatory powerhouse hiding in plain sight. It's rich in monounsaturated fats, the good kind that don't clog your arteries but actually protect them. That means more elasticity, better responsiveness, and smoother blood flow. It also contains potassium, magnesium, and vitamin E, all of which play major roles in keeping your vascular system in fighting shape. One of the most underrated facts about aging? Arterial stiffness. Over time, your blood vessels become less flexible, more like old garden hoses than supple rubber tubes. And once that stiffness sets in, your circulation suffers, especially in your lower half. That's why adding avocado to your morning routine isn't just bougie brunch behavior. It's tactical support for your blood vessels. Now let me introduce you to Frank, 71, former mechanic, total skeptic. He used to joke, "Doc, if it doesn't moo or crunch, I'm not eating it." But when his morning energy tanked and his legs felt like sandbags, he gave in. We started small, half an avocado on his morning toast sprinkled with lemon and pepper. 3 weeks later, he walks into my office grinning. "That green stuff? I think it's doing something. I walked up 2 flights of stairs and didn't even notice." That's blood flow. That's avocado. Here's an old school farmer phrase I once heard out in Alberta. You can't haul a wagon with dry wheels. Well, think of avocado as axle grease for your arteries. It keeps the system smooth, flexible, and ready to carry whatever load you throw at it. Now on to the fun part, dark chocolate, real dark chocolate, not the sugary milk kind you buy at gas stations, but 70% cacao or higher. You wouldn't expect it to be a blood flow booster, but hear me out. Dark chocolate is packed with flavonols, plant compounds that boost nitric oxide and reduce blood pressure. Basically, it tells your blood vessels, "Hey, loosen up. We've got places to go." And it does this without synthetic chemicals, pills, or side effects. Just a few squares a day, and you start to feel the difference. Odd fact of the night, cacao was so valuable to the ancient Mayans that they used it as currency. Imagine paying rent in chocolate. Honestly, kind of tempting. Now, before you start chugging chocolate bars and pretending it's health food, remember, moderation. 2 or 3 small squares in the morning with your coffee is perfect. Not only does it enhance nitric oxide, but it also stabilizes your mood, adds antioxidants, and gives you that smooth, alert energy that coffee alone can't provide. I had a guy named William, 66, who used to say he felt like his blood was stuck in first gear. We added 2 squares of dark chocolate to his morning coffee. 7 days in, he messages me, "Doc, I don't feel stuck anymore. Things are moving everywhere." Now, there's still debate in the science world about whether daily dark chocolate should be considered therapeutic or just supportive. But I've seen too many results in too many real men to ignore what's happening. Blood pressure drops, energy rises, circulation improves, and moods lighten, all from something that feels like a treat, not a chore. Here's how you combine it all. Wake up, make your smoothie or yogurt bowl, spinach, Greek yogurt, berries. Then on the side, half an avocado on whole grain toast, a square or two of dark chocolate with your coffee. No sugar bombs, no refined garbage, just real food doing real work. And no, this doesn't take an hour. You can do it in 10 minutes. Or prep it the night before. Your microwave takes longer. Your excuses aren't that creative. The best part, these foods don't just work together. They amplify each other. The healthy fats in avocado help you absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. The flavonols in dark chocolate protect your nitric oxide from oxidative stress. The entire combo becomes greater than the sum of its parts. And just like that, your breakfast isn't a throwaway meal. It's your bloodstream's best friend. Look, I'm not saying skip your coffee or start preaching food sermons at brunch. I'm saying this. If you're already going to eat, why not eat something that actually gives you something back? Something that restores your drive, your vitality, and that warm, present hum in your lower half. We've gone from toast and sadness to spinach and swagger, from sugar spikes to nitric oxide highs, and we're not done yet, because there's one more ingredient that ties this whole morning ritual together. A bold, ancient, ruby red fruit that's been improving male vitality since long before doctors wore white coats. Let me introduce you to the final player on this all-star breakfast team. Pomegranate juice. Not the sugar-loaded cocktail mixer version, but the real deal, 100% pure pomegranate juice. Deep red, slightly tart, rich with ancient swagger. This is the one food I recommend to every man over 60 who walks into my clinic and says, I just want to feel alive again. Why? Because pomegranate doesn't just support blood flow, it supercharges it. It's a natural vasodilator, which in plain English means it helps your blood vessels expand, relax, and actually function. That means more blood, more oxygen, more nutrient delivery, especially in those lower regions where so many men are losing touch with their own body. Let's take a minute to appreciate how long pomegranate has been in the game. It's been revered in ancient texts, worshipped in Egyptian rituals, and painted into Greek mythology. Kings drank it, warriors drank it, and today, your arteries are begging for it. One of my favorite patients, Edward, 68, retired school teacher, came in with the usual suspects: cold hands, cold feet, low energy, zero drive. His breakfast was a landmine of toast, jam, and sweetened instant coffee. I didn't throw a supplement list at him or some complicated protocol. I said, add 4 ounces of pure pomegranate juice to your breakfast every morning. That's it. 3 weeks later, the man walked in beaming. His hands were warm. He was walking more. And with a shy little grin, he added, I've had some mornings that reminded me of my 40s. We didn't need to say anything else. That's the quiet dignity of circulation coming back online. Let's break down what makes this fruit such a powerhouse. Pomegranate is rich in polyphenols, especially a class called punicalagins. Try saying that 3 times fast. These compounds are potent antioxidants that stimulate nitric oxide production and protect it from oxidative breakdown. In simple terms, more nitric oxide, longer-lasting effects. There's this thing in cardiovascular research called flow-mediated dilation, FMD. It's basically a test that measures how well your arteries can expand when needed. In multiple studies, pomegranate juice has been shown to improve FMD within 30 minutes of consumption. That's not theoretical. That's right now stuff. Old school wisdom moment, my grandfather used to say, you don't wait for the engine to stall before you change the oil. That's exactly what pomegranate juice is. Preventative maintenance for your circulatory engine. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Isn't juice full of sugar? Fair question. Most juice is trash, but 100% pomegranate juice, in moderation, about 4 ounces per day, gives you more than it takes. We're not chugging liters of the stuff. We're using it as a targeted, medicinal component of a smart morning routine. You're not trying to quench thirst. You're trying to ignite circulation. Strange but true fact for tonight. Pomegranates can contain over 1,000 seeds in a single fruit. That's a whole party of benefits waiting to bust out. One of the best things about pomegranate is how well it pairs with everything we've already talked about. Spinach gives your body the raw materials. Greek yogurt and berries optimize your gut and nutrient absorption. Avocado adds fat to carry vitamins. Dark chocolate boosts nitric oxide. And pomegranate ties it all together by enhancing blood vessel function and defending against oxidative stress. This is the kind of food synergy your body dreams about. No pills, no expensive gimmicks, just ingredients working in concert, like a well-rehearsed jazz band for your circulatory system. There's still open academic debate about whether the full benefits of pomegranate juice come from the juice alone or from eating the whole fruit. Honestly, don't overthink it. Juice is easier, faster, and still very effective, especially in the context of a full morning routine. If you can eat the seeds too, amazing. If not, you're still golden. Now, one more quick story. Sam, 73, widower, ex-mailman, he used to say, "I'm done chasing vitality." I convinced him to try the morning protocol: spinach smoothie, yogurt and berries, avocado on toast, dark chocolate square, and a little pomegranate juice. Took him 3 weeks to feel it. Took him 4 to start dancing again at his weekly seniors night. I saw him the other day and he winked. "Doc, I might not be chasing it, but it seems to be chasing me now." That's not just food. That's dignity. That's agency. That's circulation restored. So tomorrow morning, pour yourself a little glass of that deep red nectar. Sip it slow. Know that you're fueling something deeper than energy. You're fueling self-respect. Because blood flow isn't just about performance. It's about presence. And pomegranate helps you show up fully. Mind, body, and everything in between. And now you've got the full set. All 5 players. Each one doing its part. But together they form something powerful. A breakfast that doesn't just feed you, it transforms you. So now you've got the full picture, the 5 foods, the routine, the science, the stories, and probably a fridge that's looking more like a health spa and less like a bachelor pad. But let me tell you what really matters. The way it feels when all this starts working together. Because this isn't just about nutrients and nitric oxide. This is about momentum, waking up with clarity, feeling your legs actually want to move. That weird mid-morning fog, gone. That slow, cold, quiet sense of something's missing below the belt, replaced with warmth, presence, and confidence, not arrogance, not ego, just that quiet internal yes. Here's what the full routine looks like. Step 1, spinach. You've heard it all already. 2 cups, blended or sautéed, first thing in the morning. Nitric oxide gets a jump start. Your arteries perk up. Your blood gets moving. Step 2, Greek yogurt plus berries. Gut health restored. Probiotics reduce inflammation. Berries protect your nitric oxide, and your digestive system stops fighting your goals and starts supporting them. Step 3, half an avocado. Rich fats, potassium, magnesium, all playing bodyguard for your arteries. Smooths out the rigidity, keeps things flexible, literally and metaphorically. Step 4, 2 squares of dark chocolate. Not for the sugar, not for the thrill, but for the flavonols that relax your blood vessels and make circulation feel like less of a chore. Step 5, pomegranate juice. 4 ounces, bright, sharp, and packed with polyphenols. It ties the entire routine together, adding fuel to the flame and oxygen to the fire. Put that all together, and you're not just eating, you're activating. That's the word I want you to hold on to, activation. You're not waiting around for a pill to do the work. You're not sitting on the sidelines hoping testosterone comes back like an ex who ghosted you. You're stepping back in the driver's seat with a breakfast that tells your body, let's roll. One of my oldest clients, Albert, he's 82, walks with a cane, but moves like he's still got dance in his bones. Once told me, "Doc, I don't want to feel young again. I want to feel mine again." That stuck with me, because that's really what this is about, isn't it? Reclaiming your body, reclaiming your rhythm. Now let's be honest, you're not going to see fireworks on day 1. There's no magic switch, but within a week, you'll notice things. Warmer feet, less stiffness, a little bounce in your step when you didn't expect it. Maybe even a surprise morning visitor you thought had retired. The changes are subtle but powerful, and they build. One day becomes 2, a week becomes a month, and soon enough, you're not trying to feel better. You just do. There's a funny thing that happens around week 3. It's not just physical, it's emotional. You stand taller, you speak clearer, you laugh easier, because when your blood flows, your thoughts follow. Your mood stops crashing, your stress drops a few notches, And for the first time in years, your body stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like home. Academic circles still debate whether lifestyle changes can outperform pharmaceuticals in male vitality. Some studies say yes, others hedge. I say this, you'll never know until you commit to it. And if you're waiting for permission to try something natural and free of side effects, consider this your green light. Here's the final piece I'll leave you with. Consistency. Intensity. You don't have to go full gourmet. You don't have to Instagram your spinach smoothie. You just have to show up for yourself every morning. Eat the foods. Trust the process. Let your body do what it's been aching to do for years. Heal. Because this isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. You've been handed the map. Now it's time to take the first step. Tomorrow morning, open the fridge and choose change. Choose circulation. Choose the version of you who wakes up with energy, strength, and that quiet fire that says, I'm still here, and I've still got it. And if you ever forget why you started this, just remember Harold, Martin, Edward, Sam. Real men who made one small shift and changed the course of their mornings and their lives. Now breathe, smile, you've earned it.